Cyberpunk 2077 has many memorable characters. It's filled with cakes, donuts, and other sorts of metal snacks. One of the most influential, not just on us but the whole world of the game, is the man who casually walked in, had total 3 minutes of screen time, and changed the whole plot with his death. No, it's not your favorite Uber driver. With the whopping number of 158 years, Saburo Arasaka is the most powerful character in the whole world. A living legend. Well, he was. Damn it, Yorinobu. And I know you're waiting for me to answer the biggest question of all. Why he has a boob on his forehead? Sadly, we're not gonna look into that. I'm an ass guy myself, and this grandpa is flatter than Jackie's heartbeat or River's brain activities. Okay, we lost the thread. Hello folks, this is Old Soul, and as I was saying, we're gonna look into how they wasted the opportunity that is Saburo Arasaka. If you enjoyed,
wake the fuck up, samurai.
We have a channel to subscribe.
Born in 1919, Saburo Arasaka went from a simple pilot to an untouchable man. You know what? Let me skip the yapping and ask you a question. When first heard the name Emperor, how many of you thought they're talking about the actual Emperor of Japan? That's what I'm talking about. My man rose in war-torn Japan and became a kingpin, won wars and even conquered death, but at the first act, he's just a nobody to us. Even at Konpeki plaza heist, I knew the name Arasaka, but I still didn't know how important he was. As I walked in, while everyone was scared to death by seeing the Emperor himself, I was like, who invited Grandpa here? Does he have Alzheimer? Look how Jackie has shit his pants here. That should have been my reaction. Not just him. Look how even the AI got scared hearing about his death.
Code Red initiated.
In this room, Saburo is the most powerful and the most dangerous, while I'm just scared of Adam Smasher and Takamura. That's not the way to introduce such a cool character. And then there's his death. The most powerful man in the world should have a more moving, more touching death. Don't get me wrong, this was awesome. The soundtrack, what Yorinobu tells him and the way he dies, the escape from the building, all of them are perfect. But its potential got wasted as we were not prepared for that. We were not introduced right. Here's an example. If you didn't know anything about Game of Thrones, would this scene be half as touching as it is? Before we talk about why they did him like this, let's take a look at his character. The first question that comes into mind is how he became so powerful. What was his secret? I know what you're thinking right now. Is the boob the source of his powers? As I said, Saburo was born in 1919 in Tokyo and he was an army pilot in World War II. Long story short, in one mission, he got injured pretty bad and was in a rough shape. Suffering from this terrible injury and struggling with death, he dragged himself 500 miles thinking he would die in the process, but landed in a safe place. This is the man who would one day become the #1 in the world. After the company's fall in World War II, while the Emperor of Japan was giving his speech, Saburo decided to take his life by seppuku as he couldn't tolerate this humiliation. Then something clicked. He had a vision. Maybe he had wanked just before and was in a post-nut clarity, because suddenly everything made sense and he realized his goal, to make Japan great again. What happens after this is boring, so let's make it quick. He establishes a bank, he makes money. He predicts market behaviors, he makes money. He marries, has a son while making money, manipulates politicians, he makes money. Goes to war and makes money, gains Soulkiller and lots of money, loses his son, finally spends some of that money to defeat death, some other boring stuff like making money, and then his son steals a valuable tech and kills his father. So with this long life and long story, I think the only important part is the flying mission in World War II where he got injured. His whole life is that mission, wounded and always facing death, but stubborn and proud to the end. This man lived 158 years, but we only saw him for 5 minutes. I still believe they could deliver his death in a more majestic and understandable way, so I could be as shocked and scared as Jackie, but I think they had a good reason. There's a golden rule in creating an antagonist. They should have the least screen time possible so they can remain a mystery. That's why Kylo Ren sucks ass. Imagine if in the original trilogy, every 10 seconds, Darth Vader would pop out and said,
I am still your father.
So even though they killed the Emperor so soon, they wanted to follow this rule. And if you know the original endings, it would make sense because that's not a done deal. Now that we talked about him, I want to take a look at the biggest mystery in the game. You're naive if you think he didn't know Yorinobu might kill him. You want to tell me that this man could predict market crashes, but couldn't predict his own son's self-centered actions? This only leads to one question. If he knew Yorinobu might zero him, why did he confront him and why did he dismiss Takamura? No one can be sure, but I have two theories. First, despite what it looks like, Saburo loved his son. He took the risk of being alone with him, so maybe he has more chance to impress him and bring him back. He didn't come solely for the relic. He wanted to see his son and change his mind. Even when Yorinobu attacked, he tries to pat him. Another theory is that with Adam Smasher and Takemura there, the situation got pretty intense. He knew his son too well. He knew Yorinobu won't surrender the relic that easily. Maybe a fight would break out and the result of that is completely unpredictable. We know Smasher would survive, but no one else would be safe there. So he tried to be civil, knowing he walked into a trap, but backing off would make it worse. In the end, his only weakness brought him to this corner, his family. If you enjoyed, please be a chum and subscribe so I would be noticed here. Thanks for watching and like always,
Be safe, friend. Don't you dare go hollow.